I'm going to show you how to play out 5 different hands of the Fiendsmith Ryzeal deck, and there's just a sample deck list of the cards that you need for it. So the first combo is going to be Ice and Engraver. Now there's 2 different ways to play out this combo. The first one is starting off with Ice. The only downside of this line is that if they have Imperm plus Bestial, you kind of just like lose. If they Imperm the Ice, and it's Bestial Larry, but it plays around everything else better. So you start off by normal summoning Ice, special summon X. Now here you go activate Engraver for Tracked. The reason why I do this now is that if Tracked gets hit with Ash Blossom, you want to be able to make X-Ton here instead of making Duo Drive. Now this is still only 4 summons when you make the Duo, so it plays around Nib well. So you go Duo, you grab the Cross and Node, and then you link off the Lurie into Requiem. Requiem summons Lacrima, and then Lacrima sends the Engraver. Now from here you then link off into Sequence. You activate the Sequence to make Desiree, and then you actually link off the Desiree into Agnamdite, but you don't summon back the Desiree. Instead, you summon back the Lacrima. Now you do this because you're then going to fusion the Lacrima and the Agnamdite into Necroquip, and then summon back the Engraver that you can make Caesar. So from there you summon Sword, grab X, and then you can turn those 2 into Dweller. Then you go across, you put back 2 names, you put back Ice and X, that way you place around Bestial better, so you don't have to like Caesar it. You draw a card, and then whenever you draw, you send off Node, and then from here you make Detonator. So this is literally like every single interruption in your X deck you made. You have Caesar, Detonator, Dweller, Cross, and then Lacrima into Agnamdite, and then your Detonator is also equipped with a Twins. So for the next line is going to be Ice Engraver, except this line doesn't lose to Imperm Bestial, but it doesn't play into any hand traps harder. It still plays around every single hand trap. It just ends on a slightly weaker board, as you don't get access to the Cross and Nodes because you have to normal summon Ice here, and then they are able to nib you. So you go Engraver into Track, Lurie, Requiem, summon Lacrima, then you normal summon Ice, summon X, X grab Sword, and then here you go Duo Drive. Now there's 2 different things you could do. You can either make Necroquip here, that plays around Ogre, Ash, and Valor better. That way if they do Ogre, Ash, Valor this Duo Drive, you get the draw off of Necroquip. But the problem is that if you make Necroquip here, then you can't make it later in the line, so you have to go straight into Caesar, which also plays around Nib slightly better because it guarantees that you have Requiem plus Lacrima in the graveyard instead of Sequence putting them back. So you go Duo Drive, search Cross, and Node, and then you would link those 2 off into Sequence, and then same thing as before. You go Sequence into the Desiree, you link off the Desiree into Agnamdite, summon back the Lacrima, you make Necro, summon back Engraver, make Caesar, and you special Sword into X. X sending us in the Twins, you make Dweller, you draw a card, then Node, summon whatever you draw, and then you make Detonator. And yeah, this is just every interruption in your deck. So for the next line, we're going to do X plus Engraver. Now this line's pretty similar, but it is placed in the hand traps a little bit harder as it's X and not Ice. So you could Requiem. Sometimes they'll Bestial Requiem, so kind of place around Bestial better if you do it this way. So you go normal X here that way because you need level 4, and then you search Sword, and then you still go Sequence, and if they like nib or imperm you at any point, you still have like the Sword in your hand, so you can still extend and make a Duo Drive or Detonator. So from here you make Caesar, and once again you have Caesar plus the Lacrima to Agnamdite in your graveyard. This line just doesn't get to Dweller, as you have to make your Duo Drive later in the combo instead of earlier. It still gets everything else, so you still get Cross, you still have Node Sent, you still get Twins with Detonator, Caesar, you still get the draw. So you still on almost everything, you just don't get the Dweller. I mean, which you can get Dweller if you want, you just, you'd have to sacrifice the Detonator for it. So for the next combo, it's going to be Sword plus Engraver. So this line is sequenced a little bit differently. So you still start off the same, you still start with Engraver into the Lacrima send Engraver, then equip the Requiem. So you go Summon Sword, same as X, except here you have to go Duo Drive. You can't go Sequence because you wouldn't be able to get X effect then. So you go Cross, you search out, you go Duo, search out Cross and Ice, and then you summon Engraver, make Sequence. And then if they do like imperm the Sequence or something, you could still just go Special Ice and then Special X, and you still make Detonator plus Dweller. Well, assuming it resolves, summon the Agnum die, make Necro, or not make Necroquib, you summon X first, because you need the node search, and then you summon node, and then you could to send the Agnum die, that way you have a free discard. And then you activate the cross, you make Detonator, you attach the Deseret, that way you have a free send too, and then you make Dweller. And then you detach off the Dweller, that way you get the draw off of cross. And you still have Dweller, Detonator, you have the Deseret send, and then you have Lacrima to reborn the Agnum die. And for the last line, this is going to be ice plus any name. This could be ice plus ice, ice plus X, ice sword, ice node, literally anything. Now this line you would only do if you know you're versing something like Mermail or Dark World or something like super like Graveyard reliant. So yeah, so you go ice into X, summon X ton, and then you go Requiem, some Lacrima, you could Requiem, player and Bastille, and then instead of activating Engraver here, you special sword. That way you have the extra material. So you go dual drive, and then you search cross and node. Now if they do have nib, it's a little bit unfortunate. But you still have ice plus X in hand, so you could still make a detonator with twins under it. And then you don't have to equip the Requiem, you can actually hold it. So if they do nib you, you can then equip the Requiem to the Engraver, send their nib, and then you can special ice over the Engraver, so you don't have to send a card in your hand. But assuming they don't nib you, if they don't have any interruptions, you still make Detonator, you still have the twins, and then you have the extra body to make the Dweller with. So you basically sacrifice Caesar for Dweller, and just place it into nib a little bit harder. So yeah, that'll be all. See ya.